Welcome to Up with KREM. It is 6 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. I'm Nicole Hernandez.
And I'm Tim Pham. It's time to rise and shine. Let's get this day going. We're starting things off with meteorologist Thomas Patrick actually tracking a small earthquake over on the west side. Thomas, just how big was this earthquake? Good morning.
Good morning, guys. It was just shy of a 4 magnitude earthquake, so nothing that would be significant, nothing strong enough that could do any damage. But at a 3.8, certainly could be felt for those on the west side. A 3.8 magnitude earthquake occurred at about 3:17 in the morning along the Cascades, kind of near Snoqualmie, or about 25 miles to the east of Seattle. So for those in the Seattle metro, they might have felt that or even woken up to just a little bit of shaking. Not nearly strong enough to be felt on the east side of the state. There was also a bit of an aftershock, an even weaker 2.8 magnitude shaking in the same spot occurred just before 5 a.m. as well. So just a small earthquake, but could be felt on the west side. Here locally this morning, it is another cloudy day, but it is not a rainy morning out there, just a humid one. Temperatures are right around 60 degrees, but it appears that we're in for a dry day for this Tuesday.
This morning, the Parkway fire burning near Camillin Park is now 80% contained. The fire started last Friday and has burned about 80 acres.
So now Post Falls police are starting a criminal case after investigators found a small campfire started this wildfire. The Idaho State Fire Marshal released these photos over the weekend. They say this campfire, which someone did not put out correctly, sparked the Parkway fire, threatened homes, and caused evacuations. Campfires like these are not allowed in the community forest, and Post Falls police are treating this as an arson investigation now. If they do find the person responsible for the campfire, they could have to pay for firefighting costs.
The Department of Lands has a statutory obligation to pursue cost recovery on every single negligently started fire. So we are grateful to have Post Falls Police Department taking the lead with the criminal investigation on this. We're hopeful that they're going to identify whoever started it, because that will enable the Department of Lands to go after that individual civilly for the cost of suppression, which will be substantial.
Substantial for sure. Those costs could be more than $1 million. That's because crews had to bring in a lot of aircraft, and right now more than a dozen firefighters are still there mopping up that fire this morning. Camillin Park is closed indefinitely for now. If you do have any information about that unattended campfire, you should call Post Falls Police. That number is at the bottom of your screen right now. Well, a man accused of shooting at a deputy and leading police on a high-speed chase in the wrong direction on I-90 last week is back behind bars, and he is now charged with attempted murder.
Yeah, this is a wild story. Chief journalist Amanda Rowley obtained newly filed court documents in this case, and she has more on what led to his arrest.
Spokane County court documents say Robert Talley shot at a deputy 3 times during early Thursday morning before leading police on a chase and crashing into a downtown Spokane building. Now, I looked into the suspect's criminal history, and it turns out he's served several years in prison for crimes including a Spokane casino burglary.
Spokane County court documents say Airway Heights police went to a motel on Sunset Highway for reports of an argument early Thursday morning. When they arrived, police saw a black van speeding away from the area. Officers didn't follow, but they confirmed the van's license plates were stolen. A short while later, a deputy spotted the van near a barbecue restaurant and watched the suspect from his car. Court documents say investigators collected surveillance video from that area. This helped investigators determine the suspect, identified as Robert Talley, shot at the deputy 3 times before he drove away. From there, police say the suspect drove the wrong direction on I-90 at high speeds, even swerving head-on toward a patrol car. The suspect eventually crashed into a building in downtown Spokane. At the scene, investigators found a stolen 9mm pistol in the van, along with 3 spent bullet cartridges from the area of the shooting. We tracked down Talley's criminal history. Turns out he served serious prison time for previous crimes committed in Spokane, including a casino burglary in 2018. That put him on the wanted list for the Washington State Gambling Commission. Court records show Talley pleaded guilty to the crime a year later. The Department of Corrections says he served 5 years in prison for the burglary and malicious mischief conviction, plus a little over 12 years for other convictions between 1990 and 2015.
Now, DOC records show Talley was released from DOC custody in November 2021. He now remains in custody at Spokane County Jail. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, it is 6:06 here. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. Happening now, WSDOT has started excavating the former homeless encampment off of I-90. WSDOT is working with a contractor to help excavate the top 6 to 12 inches of soil before testing and removing the soil if necessary. And once that's done, WSDOT will decide if anything else needs to be done before reseeding it in the fall. Well, a heads up for drivers here. Work is underway on the I-90 interchange in Post Falls that could impact your morning commute. So here's what you can expect. Only one eastbound lane on Celtice Way will be open between Herborn Place and Ross Point Road. For the next 2 months, drivers will not be able to access Celtice Way from Herborn Place. We have a full list of the closings for you right now on our website, KREM.com. And then take a look at this. If you're not at your screen, you need to see this. 3 cougars, cougars were caught roaming around a home near the Oregon coast this weekend. It almost looked like one of them was staring right at the camera too. This is the 4th time in a month a cougar has been seen near the water. The most notable was last month when a cougar was spotted on the iconic Haystack Rock on Cannon Beach. That is a look at your morning rush.
Weather-wise today should not be nearly as rainy or stormy. In fact, it's likely going to be a dry day for this Tuesday, though the humidity certainly lingering as of this morning. And that has kept temperatures decently mild. You would almost call this like a muggy or a clammy kind of morning, with our temperatures just barely below the 60-degree mark, but the humidity not too far behind. But we do find ourselves in a nice bit of clearing across the Pacific Northwest. That energy that we had yesterday, that is gone as of this morning. So that's why we're not anticipating any kind of rain or storms, at least not for the next 24 hours. But there is a bit of a cold front that's off to the north and west here. That will give us our next chance of light rain chances tomorrow morning.
Well, as the cost of food has gone up across the country, local food banks have also felt the impact. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live at the Salvation Army right now. Brandon, the Salvation Army, they do a lot of good work in the community, and one of the things they do is giving out food to our neighbors who need a helping hand right now. So tell us a little bit more about their shelves. It looks like there's some food behind you, but they're receiving a really special donation today. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. That's exactly right. And I mean, just over the last few years, they've seen their demand rapidly rise. So many families are in need of food, and a lot of those prices out there are just simply not affordable for what they're making. But today we've got the pleasure to be joined by Captain David Kane with the Salvation Army. First of all, how are you feeling this morning?
Well, I'm up and ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we appreciate that because it is early. So anytime someone gets out of their bed early in the morning, we're thankful for that. But you've got years of experience working with the Salvation Army. Can you talk about just how beneficial it is, especially like the food banks, you know, that are helping supply families with something to put on their plates?
Yeah, we know that this food bank represents crisis for a lot of people that visit. In fact, about 150 households visit this food pantry every day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
There is so much need in our community as it rises, and every food box represents about 75 pounds of food for that family. Oh. And so if you think about it, this is the difference between being able to pay your rent or having to make the tough decision to feed your child and sacrifice that rent payment.
Yeah.
And so this is an essential part of our community and helping families when they reach areas of gaps and they have to make tough decisions like that.
Absolutely, and because of that demand, especially over the last few years, it's hard to keep the supply up to date, but you all are getting a helping hand this morning, and can you talk about that a little bit?
That's right. Partnerships are essential to serving our community well, and so we're so grateful for the help of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they're sending us a truck this morning, and we are so grateful for this relief because it means that we can continue to serve those that are in the greatest need.
Yep, and that truck is coming all the way from Salt Lake City. It should be here around 8:30 or so this morning, so everything you see in here right now, it's going to be even more. You know, they're going to be fully stocked up, and that's going to help a lot of families. Do you have any estimate on how much food is on that truck?
Yeah, we've heard that it is 40,000 pounds of food.
Wow. Wow, 40,000 pounds of food. That's going to feed a lot of people. And Captain, we appreciate you just for taking some time out of your morning and to talk about the good work that's happening here at the Salvation Army. So for right now, we'll go ahead and toss it back to you all in the studio.